Hi everybody, I'm out here in the Dutch polders on a cold winter's day and I want to talk to you about my gear list. So if you're a hiker, backpacker or cyclist just like us, I think that there is something for everybody in here. Me and my girlfriend Maudi have been cycling over the world for 2 years, from the Netherlands to Cambodia. And in this video I want to break down all the things I took into 5 main categories. First up is clothing, then we go to camping, onto electronics, bike related parts, and then some miscellaneous things I took. So at the end of the video I want to tell you about how all the things held up in general and what you should be focusing on for going on a long trip like this yourself. First up, this is the buff, an ideal garment for protection of your neck, for your face, for your head, for warmth, protection from the sun. I also use it at night for a sleeping mask, just an all-around ideal garment. Next up is the Patagonia Houdini windbreaker. It's a very small and lightweight package that folds up into its own pocket. I use it all the time and super handy to have somewhere close when it gets a little chilly from the wind. To shade my face from the sun, I like to use just a simple cap. This is a generic one. I'm on the lookout for a little bit more lightweight, breathable model though. One of my favorite pieces of clothing is a Wool Power full zip turtleneck. It's a merino wool and polyamide blend. It's very strong, warm. It also has thumb loops and is extra long in the back to protect you from drafts. It's just very cozy and I love it. Perhaps one complaint would be that it's a little bit on the heavy side. Next is the all-important rain layer. I've chosen the Outdoor Research Foray jacket and pants. These come with full zips on the side to open up for maximum ventilation, and that's really key when it's a little bit warmer outside but you still want to be protected from the rain. For general pants I use a very simple one I bought at Decathlon. I'm looking forward to swapping this one out for a more casual looking model with some stretch in it for a more comfortable feel. Things like extra t-shirts, socks and underpants, I like to organize them in this clothing cube I bought from AliExpress. It's very simple and functional. Next up is my extra layers kit for colder weather. I use it around camp and on the bike, but also inside of the sleeping bag when it gets really cold. This is a knitted hat from the North Face I bought years ago. It has a fleece band inside to protect your ears from the wind and the cold a little bit better. Some simple woolen gloves, they're nice, but I like to replace them with something that's a little bit more wind tight and also can be used with a touchscreen. A merino wool long john rounds out my kit for when it's really cold. Moving on is one of the most important layers. It's the Raab Nebula synthetic jacket. The insulation keeps me warm on the coldest of days. I even sometimes use it inside of the sleeping bag when it's really cold. It has all of the usual features to keep the warmth inside, and I always keep it in this breathable stuff sack. My toilet bag is a simple one from AliExpress. There's all the usual things inside like a toothbrush and toothpaste and all the other things you would expect. Now on to camping equipment. First up is the Marmot Vapor 4-person 4-season tent that we use the whole of the trip. It's a very spacious tent of course for a 4-person. It has a green color to camouflage you when camping inside nature. It sets up very easily and is still completely intact after 2 years. The downside is it's rather heavy and the ventilation is not that great. We also have the extra ground sheet for protection of the bathtub floor and for easier setup. A hank of paracord we use for a clothing line, and of course a piece of cordage comes in handy for so many things. Next is the sleeping bag. It's a Raymer's Osprey synthetic insulation bag with a really nice central zip, which I prefer over a side zip, and it's quite roomy so you can wiggle around a little bit better than in these really tight mommy bags. The sleeping mat is the Expat Synmat 3D. It's a quite comfortable mat that blows up really easily with the Schnozzle pump sack. It developed one little hole though that was impossible to find. I tried everything and now the mat in the middle of the night leaks air and in the morning you're almost on the ground, which is not ideal. This is not really Expat's fault. It's just a thing you have with all these inflation kind of mats. It can be hard to find when they have a leak. A THERMAREST pillow made from recycled materials. This is hands down the best pillow I've ever used. It's almost like a pillow you would use at home, only a little bit smaller. A THERMAREST Z-Pad that has been cut down to 4 pieces. It insulates and protects my bum when I sit down on the ground. Onto electronics, and first up is the Kobo e-reader. I use it to read books when in the tent on long evenings. The MacBook Air for computer stuffs and editing these videos. The Thule Gauntlet protection sleeve for the MacBook. This one has been like bomb-proof. It had protected my MacBook rattling all over the place for 2 years. MacBook and protection sleeve were always kept in this dry bag from ORTLIEB to protect from possible water damage. Also kept inside of an ORTLIEB dry bag is my general electronics kit, which contains this small wall plug adapter, a zip-up storage bag with cables, SD cards and also a cleaning kit for the cameras. The main lens we use is the Sony 18-105 f4 lens with a variable ND filter for video shooting, with a neoprene protection bag to switch out the other lens that I use right now. A 2TB hard drive from Western Digital and also a 4TB that Maudie and I both split for extra backup. An Apple Mighty Mouse, which helps out with editing while out on the road. Also an Apple power brick to power up our MacBooks. And a repurposed sunglasses case to help protect the mouse and also hold some extra batteries. This was all kept in my panniers. Now on to my handlebar bag electronics. A small cube bag with some tape, some electronic cables and other stuff. Another small bag with camera batteries and a charger. Also a small cleaning cloth for cleaning the lenses. It's always close, so that's really convenient. An Anker Speedcore 10,000 mAh power bank to charge my stuff while riding. Next up is the action camera kit for the Sony FDR3000X action camera. We use this camera to take shots in difficult locations. It has great stabilization and we have the waterproof housing. The magic arm is the tool to have for all the difficult angles on the bike. One side has a clamp to connect to the bike frame and the other side you can connect the camera. This cross universal wall plug adapter is essential for traveling abroad. Besides being compatible in most countries, it also has 2 USB ports for charging power banks and all the rest. When you hold the button at the side, you can slide one of the universal adapters out so you can plug it in. Onto the drone we use is the DJI Spark. It's small, it's lightweight and it's quite affordable. There is a learning curve, but it's easy to fly. And the images you get from it are just fantastic. We use it with a dedicated remote control to get the utmost out of the performance. You connect it to your smartphone and that way you can have a visual representation of where you're flying while the remote control keeps a connection with the drone. To protect the drone charger and also the propeller guards, I made this box with some foam in it. It keeps everything protected from moisture and dust and also from rattling around on the road. The tripod we use is the Manfrotto B3 with a fluid head. It's reliable, strong and not too heavy. Missing from this camera kit is the Sony a6000 which I use to shoot this video. And now on to bike related gear, and first up is a small box with spare parts. Just some high quality stainless steel nuts and bolts, some grease and other stuff like that. The toolkit with a Leatherman rebar, an adjustable wrench and also a patch kit. There's other bike specific tools in there and also some extra grease. I keep it all in this Cordura zip bag. The tool bag was also quite heavy at 1.7 kilos, so that's really something to lighten up for the next time. Here we have a plastic tube containing spare spokes and also our pump, which is the Tall Peak Road Morph. And this is just an ideal pump. You can put it on the ground, it has a little foothold, and then pumping is just super easy. A little bike computer we use is the VDO M4.1, and this one has a wire on it. It has loads of features speed, distance and also altitude. The wire broke a couple of times, so that isn't really ideal. The front and back light, which I keep in a little pouch. They're both USB rechargeable. The backlight is the Moon Nebula with different settings and it gets really bright. The front light is the Cat Eye Volt 400, also with a lot of different settings, and it can get really bright as well. The main tool we use is this Allen key multi-tool, and we use it all the time to tighten our bolts, so we keep it always close and handy to go. A little bag with cotton rags for cleaning the chains, and this is the helmet that I use. It's from the brand Gyro. I dropped it a couple of times on the ground, so the top layer cracked. It's only cosmetical damage, which I patched up with some duct tape, and it's really still safe to go. The blue cable is a part of our bike locking system. It has 2 loop eyes on the end and is 3 meters long to wrap around large objects. 2 spare inner tubes. Spare brake pads from the brand Colstop. These brake pads are excellent. We only changed them out once after 11,000 kilometers. A pocket knife by Opinel that I modified to find easily and to have a little bit more functionality. Also here a little maintenance kit for sharpening, some beeswax and some other bits and bobs. Here you can see the knife in a little bit more detail. I put a drop point on there and also put a lanyard in the back, and also painted the back orange. Here's a little toilet kit that also doubles up as a fire starting kit. I keep it in one of the smaller ORTLIEB dry bags. Unfortunately it delaminated. I got in contact with ORTLIEB and they replaced it for me for free. So great customer service. A couple of cheap knockoff sandals I bought to protect against foot fungus while using hotels. A rechargeable camping light that was gifted to us. It's a great little light to hang from the ceiling in the tent. It has some different brightness settings and gives a nice atmosphere. Sunglasses that I also keep in my handlebar bag. These are the Tifosi Veloce Phototech Brown. The lenses have become quite scratched, making them dull, so I have to change them out. The frame is still going strong. Then onto the Miscellaneous bag. This contains all kinds of different things such as duct tape, electrical tape, tie wraps, spare batteries, etc. Next are the first aid kits. I have 2 of them. One is more specific for pills and powders, and the other one is more for plasters and band-aids and those kinds of things. Perhaps a little overkill, so I'm looking to trim this down as well. And then a bum bag that I carry close to my person all of the time. It's made by Eastpak and it contains my wallet, passport and other important documents. All this gear is held on the bike with panniers, a duffel bag and a handlebar bag. The rear pannier is the ORTLIEB Back Roller Pro. This is a bigger version than normal, so you can take a lot of stuff. For the next tour I would like to try a smaller and a lighter setup though. The 49-liter rack pack holds our tent and also my insulated jacket and the tripod. The material used is a thick PVC, making it very durable and strong, same as on the panniers. The front roller is also from ORTLIEB. Although these bags are very durable, I had some problems with losing some screws due to vibration, and I also managed to get some holes in them. The handlebar bag, also from ORTLIEB, is made from a thinner material. It's spacious and I store all the things I need access to quickly, like my camera, batteries, a wind jacket for example. Last but not least, my cycling uniform I wear every day. Just a simple t-shirt and short pants, a long sleeve t-shirt to protect me from the sun, some underpants, socks and shoes. Mostly very generic pieces of garment. Cheap, maybe second hand even. Something that does the job and make me look casual. This is where the most wear and tear is, so during the trip this has seen lots of changes. So that has been the gear I took on my 2-year trip, and I have to say I'm pretty happy with my choices. For the next time around I'm gonna change some things out, so check out for another video on that in the future. I hope you got something out of it. I think that some parts are more important than other parts, especially the clothes that protect your core temperature, sleep system, tent, these kind of things to provide a safe place for you to sleep, have a good night's sleep, be well rested, to enjoy the next day. I think these things are the most important and the things you should focus on first. And then secondary are the luxury items, or items like electronics to make these vlogs. Of course, great to have and important when you want to document these kind of things, but only secondary in importance to the other stuff I mentioned. So you might be thinking, what about your cooking system? That is something I didn't take with me, but Maudie did. So watch the video up here. She's gonna tell you all about it and about the gear she took on her trip as well. If you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell. To help with our video creations, consider supporting us on Patreon.